Admiral's log. The tides of diplomacy have shifted in our favor. Through careful manipulation and strategic promises, I have successfully influenced the political landscape to foster an alliance with Germany. This new powerful ally will serve as the hammer to our anvil, allowing Spain to strike France from both sides and ensuring their swift downfall. The German High Command, impressed by our naval prowess and shared ambition, has agreed to support our campaign against France. This alliance is a masterstroke, one that will bring us closer to our ultimate goal of a reformed Spain. The groundwork has been laid, and soon the coordinated assault will begin. This alliance with Germany is not without its complexities. We must tread carefully to ensure that our interests remain aligned and that Spain retains its sovereignty in the face of German influence. Yet the benefit far outweigh the risks. With German forces pressing France from the north and our navy dominating the seas, we can envelop the French forces in a pincer movement that will break their will to fight. This maneuver, brilliantly conceived and meticulously planned, will not only secure our victory, but also solidify my standing as the architect of Spain's resurgence. The path to democracy is fraught with peril, but with each calculated move, I draw closer to my vision of a new, powerful Spain under my leadership. Hello there, welcome to episode 2. It is October 1905, and tensions with the British have gone to a crisis. If you want peace, prepare for war. This is going to give me a -5 for the British, but we're going to go a bit harder on the British. This is going to give me a bit of naval prestige, which I have lost. It's going to spark more unrest, which I kind of want. And it is very, very likely going to bring us right to the brink. We're on -95, and I'm right there with my partner, Germany. Now, the British, interestingly, have a fleet that's ideally suited to be countered by mine. They have 12 battleships. That means that there is a lot on the line for them to lose. My fleet is over here in the channel, presenting 22 destroyers, 5 heavies, and 5 battleships as a massive threat. The question is, when exactly are the British going to stand up and say the Spanish have to be out of here? That is the moment I'm waiting for. And here it is. The British have sent us an ultimatum. Our patience is over. -30 reputation with the with the Brits. Or I can say, here's 57 million. And we're going to go to peace. No, of course not. We're going to go to war. And this is going to spark all sorts of ripple effects in the rest of the world. The situation between myself and the Americans isn't great. And this is something that I'm not particularly anticipating. But you might remember that invasion that I did from Western Sahara to Morocco. It failed. Why? The damn United States showed up. And they just took it. I'm not sure why, but they did. So here we are. Now, when it comes to my naval budget, I've been selling a couple of ships to my allies, which are the Ottomans and Egypt. So I'm now sitting on 782 million. I'm still selling... Sorry, no, I'm not actually building any more ships. And with this naval funding from wartime situation, I'm actually getting quite a lot of tech budget. So I've maxed it out. I'm going to keep my transport cap at 200%. I don't really care that much about crew training, but I'm going to have to send my money somewhere. I'm also going to start ordering a bunch more destroyers. Again, we're going to go with the David Titus class, simply because I expect to lose a bunch of these ships. And if I still have a surplus, it's going to go right into naval funding, which is fine, because that money is going to come in very useful later, when we're going to be in a situation where my monthly balance is not nearly that good. Now, what's the status currently of the British? They only have 8 battleships left. They have 9 torpedo boats. They definitely took a bit of a blow from the Germans. The Germans, they still have loads of ships. And seeing as the Germans don't have nearly as many provinces, this is going to cause the British to have to spend quite a few of their ships to defend the other territories, lest the Germans take them. Now, the British have a minor presence over here. Like, there's not a whole lot going on here, because the Germans seem to have the North Sea quite well locked down. So where's the British fleet? They got 1 cruiser moving to reinforce. Here we got one torpedo boat making a whole passing. All right. Oh, they're all going to Western Africa. Not my problem. Not my problem. If I can just hurt the British economy by going on a full invade mission, I'll do it. And bombarding ports, prepping for an invasion is extremely unlikely, but I'm going to go over to Belfast because that's a 59,000 ton port. My fleet isn't just past 100,000 tons, so maybe I can bombard the port a few times and then invade on Northern Ireland because it is a nice strategic position. And yes, I mentioned in episode 1, the Irish Sea is something that I'll have to put naval power into. Fine, we'll do it. I just need to get more territory. Unfortunately, the Empire's alliance with the Spanish did not last. Sorry, with the Germans. I'm not sure why, but okay, here we are. I am, however, very much on the way to invading Northern Ireland. Unfortunately, the Irish, as well as the British, aren't exactly too happy about that. And because my presence in the North Atlantic, I didn't even know I had a presence in the North... Oh yeah, right, here, with the islands. I'm starting to lose ships, but not as nearly as many as the British. Look at how many ships they're losing. That's going to hurt a lot, which works out for me. Now, they were also partying out in the Chinese area of Kiaochu Bay. Didn't exactly go well for the British. The Germans pushed them right back. I'm not exactly sure what caused the British... the breakup with the Germans for me. I don't think I did anything to provoke them. But when you break an alliance, the reputation instantly grows to 0. So that's nice. Seeing as I had already bombarded Belfast, this is going to go very, very well. And in 2 turns, I should be the proud new owner of North Ireland. We also have a convoy mission. We have 1 DD, the Scheffler Gaming, as well as 3 transports of our own against the Vigorous. This destroyer, worth 5.5 million, is not as fast as I am. It does, however, have 4 guns of 4-inch and 2 of 3-inch as 4 torpedo tubes. I only have 5 tubes and 1 gun. I need to land a torpedo hit. Preferably 2, ideally 3, and hope that they're not duds. My convoy is going to have a very hard time here. This DD is almost on top of them. It doesn't quite have the range, but it's, well, going to be about 30 seconds, and it'll be in range. So that's a problem. My torpedo range is 3.3. My torpedoes are not particularly quick, like 26.9. They can barely keep up with the enemy DD. So I'm really only going to pop those the moment that I can see the whites of their eyes. Problem is, they might very well do the same. I do have one advantage. I have bow-mounted torpedo tubes, and they have bow-mounted guns. So in that sense, maybe I can use the bow-mounted torpedo launchers to get a... let's get a headshot. Of course, getting a bow-in profile is somewhat problematic. This is going to be an interesting... potentially very, very brief fight. Instantly the torpedo launcher is used. That's a bow tube. You're gonna miss me. Oops. Ow. 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 This is what I meant when I said I was probably, gonna lose DDs. And they got hit as well. I don't think I have quite the flooding control for this. And the Vigorous might very well survive. Well, might very well survive. Yeah, they're gonna survive. Scheffler Gaming probably is not. Poor ship. But, well, we did some damage, but, you know. Oh, the irony. The situation is as follows. We have a 3-inch gun on the bow. They have a couple of 4-inch guns and 3-inch guns. But we're both listing so badly... Shut up, I was trying to talk. We're both listing so badly that I can't actually shoot them. They seem to not have this problem because I am coming up onto their bow. And that means I am much, much easier to start getting shot at. This is problematic. If I'm able to get, like, to their port side about 90 degrees, I should be able to... Yeah. Well, I should be fine. I have 5% buoyancy left. That's about 4% more than I strictly need. Vigorous only has her guns. I have my torpedo launchers, but before those torpedo launchers get reloaded, well, will be a while. So, I guess the prognosis is not very good, but... if I can land probably one more torp, maybe on the bow, I can put that thing down. We're still, well, dropping speed pretty quick. He's still doing 17, but he's dropping. I'm in a turn, which is making me lose speed even faster, and I'm probably going to take another hit or two and flood to death. So that's not a great start with the British, but hey, I'm invading Northern Ireland, so I guess we can kind of call it even. Overpens, damage to the torpedo launchers. Don't damage my torpedo launcher, dude. I still have one. I just need a few more seconds to get that thing loaded. There's not a whole lot left of this ship. Ah, she's gone. Just when she was about to get her torpedo ready. Unfortunate. Normally this would be the end of the battle. But it isn't. I have no controllable ships. Why is the battle not ending? I'm just going to leave the battle. It's a bit weird. Normally the game just goes, yeah, well, you lost your combat-capable ship. Good luck to you. But in this case, it didn't. The outcome, however, is still the same. I did gain some victory points, but they gained a lot more. And they sank 6 of my transports. The bastards. As such, my income is probably going to drop a bit. Yeah, I'm starting to lose transport capacity, so let's crank this thing up and make sure that we reduce our losses from transports as quickly as possible. I'm going to need to spread my DDs out a bit more. The DDs are going to have to take a fairly aggressive stance. I still have... yeah, I got 3 DDs there. I'm going to send... North Sea is kind of covered, I guess. Yeah, I'm just going to send a ship to the North Atlantic. Jonathan Pate, you're going to be patrolling the Atlantic. Maybe we can catch another convoy off guard. As for the British, they're sending 6 battleships to the North Sea. And seemingly either the Germans have beaten a hasty retreat, or they're lying in ambush, or both. I'm eager to see this group with 20 DDs and 19 torpedo boats clash with that battleship group there. Because that's 1 battleship, but there are 6 more on the way. Germany, take it away. By some miracle, I failed to gain control over Northern Ireland. I wonder... Yeah, they showed up with reinforcements. It's a bit unusual, really. Considering the state of that port... Oh, they fixed it. Fine. We'll just have to show the British what's what again. Which means we're going to have to bombard that port. What happened here? How many ships do the British have left? 2 battleships. Oh boy. They took a massive beating by the Germans. Yeah, the Germans are really well equipped to fight the British. Which means we have a weak British Empire at the moment. Not just here, but worldwide. That is a very nice opportunity. Surprisingly, they still have very good army logistics. Maybe we just need to sink more transports. My army logistics is 77%, which for my campaigns is not bad. I want to see if I can fight these, kill them off, and then go for Northern Ireland yet again. A little later we find ourselves with Chaos Engine, a heavy cruiser. She is going to have to fend off an ambush by a couple of British ships. This heavy cruiser, armed with a couple of 9-inch guns, as well as 3-inch casemates pretty much all over the place. It's not fast, she only does 18 knots. Yet, in this case, that might actually come out to help her. Because that means her turning circle is really not that bad. Especially if I slow the ship down, I might have a much better time dodging those torpedoes, and there will be many. There's 5 DDs, rapidly closing the distance. The same class we've seen before. Well, saw before because they just went up in smoke. Quite literally. Deploying smokescreen rendered them completely invisible to the Chaos Engine. I'm going to try and turn the ship slightly away, having these guys trying to catch up to me. Although, those British DDs, they do 25 knots. I cannot outrun that, even if I tried. So we're going to have to stay and fight. And we're going to fight them at 4-kilometer range. Which means that we're probably inside of their torpedo range? No, their torpedo range is 1.7. Okay, that means they got fast torpedo launchers, like the fast torps on those ships. No, we're not going to fire HE. Oh, sorry, AP, we're going to fire HE. And if I can just get a bit of damage in on them, a bit of flooding, that'd be great. Now keep in mind, these heavy cruisers were designed with this express purpose in mind. Defeat enemy destroyers. Keep the battleships safe from enemy destroyers and torpedo boat attacks. So I have high hopes for them. And if they fail, then that means that I have to develop a new class of heavy cruiser. Seeing as my bank account is almost at $1 billion, I think, at this point, I can probably get that done. All I need is a bit of time. I need to get the time to build a new cruiser. Come on, can we land any hits that do any kind of damage? Perhaps. Crew training's only trained. Here come the torps. It's going to hit me squarely on the back. Dud. Excellent. Probably going to try and hit me again. What kind of pen do we have? 0.3. This is the lurcher. Well, she's already lurched, that's for sure. Go AP on the secondaries. Couple more holes. You're blocking everything? Dude, are you trying to ram me or something? Shall we not do that? That'd be really bad for my paint job. I'm kind of attached to that. Not really. We're going to have to dodge another DD pretty soon. One called the Manners. Let's try and increase speed, although my acceleration is probably dreadful. Anyway, I need to sink at least one of these boys, so that if my ship sinks, I at least have some victory points to show for it. Yeah, that ought to do it. Next one is the Manners. Overpen for 0.7? Ah, there you go. Whoa! That's the 3-inchers pulling their weight. Good work. Bit more where that came from, please. For some reason, this thing is not yet launching its torpedoes. I don't know why, but long may it continue. Now, I am missing... I'm missing one torpedo boat. Oh, there it is. Vigorous. Found it. I'm very, very concerned about the position of the Manners here, because if she just decides to launch her torps like that... Hold back emergency. No, never mind, that doesn't do anything. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Like hell. Please be duds. Boom, 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 boom. I don't want this kind of doom. Chaos Engine's never gonna survive that. Yeah. Whoa, we're surviving? Up until the point where the Vectis decides to launch her torps. Or the Yarrow. Which she's exactly doing right about now. I cannot turn. Be a dud! You're a dud! Oh ho! Well, there might... Ah! Fucker. There might be hope yet, is what I would try and say, but no joy. So that's the loss of a heavy cruiser. The loss of the Chaos Engine. Not a good display for the Spanish Navy so far. That's not good for me either. My naval prestige is not gonna go up. Quite the opposite. Well, I think a sample size of 1 is a bit small. I am going to get this ship a refit. I'm going to try and make her just a touch faster. I'm going to set her crew to standard crew quarters. I'm not sure why I had them cramped in the first place. We're going to give her an auxiliary engine, which is going to help with rudder shifting, at least a bit. We're going to improve the steam steering. As for a balanced rudder, I'm going to switch this to unbalanced. I probably overlooked this in the past to make sure that this ship has better chances of dodging torpedoes. The turning circle's now down to 406, as opposed to 600, which it was. I can also upgrade their TNT to TNT-1. Sorry, their bursting charge. The gun cotton is not even available anymore. And TNT substantially reduces flash fire. Picric acid, while fun, also increases that chance. Ballastite's going to stay. I'm going to give him standard shells. I still maintain the role for these cruisers. But with these 3-inchers, like 0.2 inches of armor, it's going to get penned pretty much none of the time. What I can do is go for capitalistic HE. Just go for increased pen chance on that, and yeah, stick to semi-ballistics. It's not great, but if this thing does hit a cruiser, if it does hit a destroyer, it's likely going to finish it off. As for towers, we have front tower 4 on it. Yeah, 4 on here. We're going to increase that to a front tower 5. Rear tower 5 is steady what we have. As for armor, armor was not the problem. The ship didn't die because it lacked armor. The ship died because it got hit by a whole bunch of torpedoes. Bad news for the ship, good news for the torpedoes. Unfortunately, I don't have reinforced bulkheads, but I can try and fit a double hull. Not with that displacement, though. Maybe I can do 19 knots. Maybe not. Okay. What if I increase the operational range to standard? It's way too heavy. Yeah, we're not going to get anywhere with about 30 tons. It's not going to happen. So let's increase the superstructure armor. Make that a bit more resilient against DDs, and I think that's enough. It's going to take me 2 months to execute this refit, which shouldn't be too long. And if I have to take 1 or 2 heavy cruisers out of the fight in order to get them refit, I'll do it. Not a problem. Something else I want to add to the fleet is a better destroyer. Right now I have those fairly small David Titus class. They are capable of executing torpedo attacks against bigger ships, but as we have seen, when it comes to a destroyer-on-destroyer fight, they're pretty much useless. I don't accept that. I'm going to make these things relatively quick, and I don't mind if they're reasonably expensive, so long as they can hold their own. That is kind of the deal. They have to be able to hold their own against another DD. What I know about the British is that they're using destroyers that have a couple of 4-inch guns, a couple of 3-inch guns. A bit of a mixture of armament, and with that they also have to have torpedo launchers. They don't have a ton of capacity, but they have enough. I'm going to make the stern of this torpedo... Well, I'm not going to do anything. This thing is way too heavy. Because I have 2 torpedo launchers? What are you talking about? Is it too fast? Yes, it's too fast. Right. It's still way too heavy. Scrap the auxiliary engine, scrap the double hull, lose a torpedo launcher. 18 inches not spectacular, but, well, we'll just have to use the 18-incher to do as much damage as possible. I can go for a 19-incher, giving me 100% more torpedo damage. Yeah, okay, I'll accept that. It's probably not that much heavier. 7 tons heavier. Okay, fine. These guns, Mark II, Mark III. Mark III 3-incher, I can just upscale that to a 3.9, and that'll be sufficient. Unfortunately, what I really need is a better hull. I just don't have a good hull. And that is probably going to be a bit of a problem. This torpedo launcher is going to live amidships. You're going to sit there. We're going to supersize these to 3.9s. Or not. 3.05. And they weigh 2 tons. Perfect. So again, I'll still not nearly have as much firepower as the British. Nor do I have the same... No, actually I do have the same level of speed, because their speed is 26 knots, I think. So my DDs are actually quite a bit faster. Give them heavy shells. I know the ship's fully overweight, but we'll deal with that. Give me induced boilers. Reduce the range. Give me a 29 knot destroyer. It's not spectacular, but at least I have a bit more firepower. And maybe... Yeah, I can't really add any other guns anywhere. I can add them here, at the expense of the firing arc of that main gun. But I just want to be able to destroy the destroyers. Theirs, notably. Let's get more belts. Bit of superstructure. Old the conning tower. You can't exactly armor these things up. That starts at 4 inches, which means that my guns might explode. Unfortunately, there's not too much that I can do about that. That sucks, but so be it. Okay, give me a radio. And now I am 1 ton too heavy. Reduce aft deck and foredeck armor. Oh, come on. There. Okay, that's the new DD. She's not spectacular, but against another destroyer, at least she should be able to bring a bit more firepower to the fight. One thing I forgot to do, you can make these things substantially bigger. So that's what we're doing. I'm Not sure exactly why I forgot about that, but okay. I can just make these things substantially bigger. And now they can house advanced towers. So I can definitely turn this into a more potent destroyer. Unfortunately, I don't have the 4-inch Mark III. That would really help out. I could put the bridge up here, but I don't like it. Because it really constrains the firing arc of this gun. Is it possible to house a barbette? No. Well, there, yeah, but the game's not gonna like it much. Now, how's a torpedo launcher here? How far can this bridge go back? Quite far. Well, it's a bit of a weird spot for a launcher, but whatever. This is gonna give me much more flexibility. I have guns. I have more guns. I have 4 torpedo launchers. I like it. I like it. It's going to cost me more. It's going to cost me 7.5 million relative to the 4.5 million. But hopefully, against another DD, I'll be able to win a fight. And that, too, is valuable. Now, on my bucket list would be a petrol engine, auxiliary engine, but that's going to cost me another 8 tons. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to just reduce the deck armor to nothing. But here we are. Just don't get hit. That's pretty much how this is going to play out. Don't get hit. Alright, let's order up a couple of those and continue on with the war. Let's see if my DDs can do what they were intended to do. Hit way above their weight class. This is 2 destroyers, the Mohammedi and the Catfish, going up against a couple of British battleships armed with a substantial number of guns. They have 2, let's say, smaller, faster escorts, the Manners and the Snapper. We also have a heavy cruiser called the Terrible, but it's relatively slow at 18 knots. My torpedo range is not going to be very spectacular, so we'll have to get in close, which means we might be able to get a couple of very decent blows against one of these battleships, which might very well give us at least a few victory points, because so far, I really am not doing well. Let's have a look at these British ships. What are we facing? Yeah. Dreadnoughts, sidebounds, 14-inch guns, 8.5-inch guns, 12.3s on the wings. Yeah. And these others? That's just similar, but I thought they had a different build. Unfortunately, I don't have good visual on all of them yet. 17 clicks out, my torpedo range is only 5. So we'll have to get a little cheeky and rather aggressive. I'm not sure if they can see me yet. That could be very useful. Maybe we can sneak around. That's what these things were designed to do. Sneak around. They're not exactly designed for direct confrontation with anything. A cruiser, a destroyer, doesn't matter. They're supposed to hit them from afar. And the most important thing for me right now, especially considering my disastrous victory point score, is get damage. Don't care about kills. Don't care about flat-out sinking of enemy battleships. I mean, it'd be a great prize, but I don't expect it. Get the damage in. That's all we have to do. Get the damage in. I'm going to try and rush this battleship. And I would very much appreciate having these guys refit with the 7-kilometer range. Ow! Torps. That's one of you dead. Wait, you're not? You're not dead? That is extremely impressive. You took 88,000 points of damage, you're not dead? Sign me up for more of those ships. Torp it out. And run away. Full ahead flank. Mohammedi just launched another set. We're going to torp the second guy. Ideally. Soonish. Torps away. Run. I don't mind losing one, I don't want to lose both. But good lord, this thing is taking it like a champ. 94, 110? We did apparently miss. But there's at least some damage. We might actually get another cruiser. Yeah, we got some damage on the Terrible. So, we did 15,000 points of damage, we lost the DD. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. Ideally, I'll be able to disappear right about now because they're going to lose line of sight. There we go. I lost sight of the Catfish Hunter. So this is exactly the plan. I'm facing a navy which is far more powerful than my own. And as such, the only thing I can do is these guerrilla-style warfare attacks. Just hit them, run, run, run. And maybe get some victory points along the way. So, this attack was a disaster. 350 victory points scored because I did a bit of damage. Loss is severe. The British are very far ahead of me in terms of victory points, and I'm very concerned. If they are able to get a, well, let's say a peace treaty signed, it's not going to be a good look for the Spanish Navy. We're going to be pretty screwed if they sue for peace. Because the way that this is going to work out, they got 18,000 victory points. We have 4.5. Yeah, that's it. 4.5. I did, however, take the Shetland Islands off of them. I now have Lerwick over here, and I have parked 4 destroyers over there. These are attached to the North Sea by region, so at least I'll have some power projection, and I might be able to snipe some more of the British convoy ships. I rather doubt it'll have much of an impact on the situation, because their economy is still 277 million. Which means I'm taking on something, sorry, I'm not Chinese anymore. I'm taking on something which is about 10 times my size. And I'm wondering why I'm losing. Now, my technology is supposedly behind, despite having almost 100% tech reach. Theirs is very advanced. Yeah, everything is going according to plan. Now, I did have a navy over here in Barry, but then the British Navy showed up, and I think they're fighting the Russians as well. Yeah, they are. Every now and then they move a naval group into range, so then I try and push my fleet back in and then back out, and then we play this little cat and mouse game. Right now, I'm not even sure where I sent the navy. I had a battle group here. And I have no clue where it went. Anybody seen 5? Oh, right, Gibraltar. I'm trying to take Gibraltar off of them because it is blocking my own entrance into the Mediterranean, and I'll be damned if I'm going to have to go around the British. Unfortunately, I cannot instill another naval invasion, so I'm going to have to wait for probably one more turn to fix that. Anyway, war with the Brits, not going well. Can we win? Don't know. We'll see in the next episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.